the 12 morning declarations that rewire your destiny. Before you open your eyes, before your feet touch the floor, there is a fragile, fleeting moment when silence speaks louder than the noise of the world. It is in that space, before reality rushes in, that your mind whispers a question that shapes your destiny. Who are you going to be today? Most people never hear that whisper. They leap into their phones, scroll through chaos, absorb opinions, and surrender their identity to the demands of the outside world before they have even taken their first conscious breath. They become passengers on a train they never chose, driven by doubts, fears, regrets, and the heavy echo of yesterday's failures. But what if I told you that in those first fragile seconds, you hold the key to everything: your peace, your power, your future? The great spiritual teachers have always known this truth. The mind is not just a mirror of life, it is the architect. And every morning, you pick up the blueprint. Buddha's story warmly welcomes you to today's journey. Thank you for being here, seekers of truth. There is an ancient tale, older than any scripture, that speaks to this very choice. Long ago, a prince named Aaron was born into a world of silk and gold, shielded from suffering by palace walls. His father, fearful of a prophecy that foretold the prince would abandon royal life, buried him in comfort, luxury, and lies. But destiny cannot be delayed. One night, Prince Aaron slipped beyond the marble gates and witnessed the raw, unfiltered pain of life: illness, aging, death. His illusion shattered, but in that moment of darkness, he discovered an eternal truth. He was not his lineage. He was not his past. He was not the labels stitched onto him by others. He was his next decision. And so, like the Buddha before him, Aaron abandoned the crown, embraced the unknown, and through that terrifying yet courageous choice, rewrote his destiny. You see, the past is a ghost that clings to your shadow, whispering stories of failure, limitation, regret. But the future? The future belongs to those bold enough to choose it. Every morning, as the sun rises, you cast a new vote for the person you wish to become. You are not chained to who you were 5 years ago, or even 5 minutes ago. You are the decision you make next. I met a woman named Sophia, an ordinary soul with an extraordinary burden. She carried the scars of heartbreak, betrayal, and lost dreams. Her mornings were a battlefield of anxiety and self-doubt, until one day she chose differently. She stood before her reflection, trembling but defiant, and declared, "I am not my past. I am my next decision." It started small. She changed her words, then her habits, her friends, her beliefs. Brick by brick, Sophia dismantled the prison of her history and built a sanctuary for her future. Today, she leads healing retreats for women worldwide. It all began with a morning choice, and so can yours. But we must go deeper. Beyond action lies identity. You do not attract peace, love, or success by chasing them. You attract them by becoming the version of yourself who naturally receives them. This is the second morning declaration. I do not chase. I attract by becoming. The Buddha taught that desperate craving leads to suffering. When you chase love, approval, or opportunities from a place of emptiness, you reinforce the story that you are unworthy, incomplete, lacking. But when you align your thoughts, energy, and habits with abundance, the world rearranges itself to meet you. Consider the lotus flower, sacred in Buddhist tradition. It does not strain toward the sun. It rises from the mud, quietly, persistently, and in its becoming, the sunlight finds it. I recall the story of Kavi, a troubled young man driven by vengeance after his family faced injustice. His early life was consumed by anger, chasing retribution that only deepened his suffering. But upon meeting a wise monk, Kavi was asked, "What if you stopped chasing revenge and became worthy of peace instead?" That question changed everything. Kavi turned inward, embraced meditation, studied the Dharma, and over time, his bitterness dissolved. He became a teacher of compassion, his mere presence attracting healing to those around him. He no longer chased justice. He embodied it. You attract what resonates with your highest self, not your deepest fear. This leads us to the third and most radical truth. I am the author, not the audience, of my life. Many live as spectators, scrolling through curated lives, applauding others while shrinking their own dreams. But Buddha's teachings remind us, waiting for permission, validation, or perfect timing is the root of suffering. Your life is not a passive story written by fate. It is a blank manuscript, and every thought, choice, and intention is ink on the page. You hold the pen. There is a legend of Mara, the tempter who visited the Buddha beneath the Bodhi tree, whispering doubts, fears, and illusions. But the Buddha did not crumble. He placed his hand upon the earth and declared, "The earth is my witness." In that moment, he reclaimed authorship of his destiny. You too face your own Mara, doubts, fears, past failures. But you can reclaim your pen. You can edit the story, rewrite the chapters, and decide that the next line is one of courage, not conformity. It starts the moment you rise, before the notifications, the emails, the demands. Your words shape your world. Your declarations are not empty affirmations, they are spiritual commands. But awareness is not enough. Boundaries are essential. The world will drain you if you let it. Your time, energy, and peace must be guarded like sacred ground. This is the fourth morning truth. My time, energy, and peace are sacred. In Buddhist monasteries, monks rise before dawn not for ritual, but for protection. They fortify their minds before the world intrudes. Your peace is not optional. It is the foundation upon which your purpose is built. And finally, the quiet force behind all transformation. Discipline is my language. Consistency is my superpower. The Buddha did not awaken by meditating once. Enlightenment came through relentless, disciplined practice. Success is not built in one grand gesture, but in thousands of unseen, repeated acts of alignment. Every morning, you resist the chaos, anchor to your declarations, and show up for your future. You are laying the bricks of your highest self. This is mastery. This is the inner revolution. If these truths resonate with your soul, support Buddha Story by subscribing. Your energy fuels our mission to share wisdom that transforms lives. Now, for those brave enough to reflect, I offer you this question. Which choice holds more power? A. Chasing what you desire from a place of fear. B. Becoming the version of yourself who naturally attracts it. Comment your answer below with A or B. I read every response, and together, we rise. There is a hidden truth that most people overlook as they rush into their days. It is the truth that life, no matter how chaotic, cannot control you unless you abandon your inner foundation. The outside world will always be unpredictable. The storms of uncertainty, rejection, failure, and resistance will find you whether you are ready or not. But real mastery is not about controlling the world. It is about cultivating a mind, a heart, and a spirit so grounded that nothing outside can pull you away from your center. This is where the second half of your morning declarations becomes more than words. They become your armor, your compass, and your reminder that everything you need is already within you. The noise of the world is relentless. People will tell you who to be, how to live, and what to believe. Their voices may sound convincing, but their words do not define your path. Your deepest truth does. The seventh declaration reminds us, no outside voice is louder than my inner truth. True wisdom is not found in following the crowd. It is found in standing quietly, rooted in who you are, even when the world screams otherwise. One of the greatest lessons I learned during my time in Thailand came from a monk named Davin, a man who lived in silence for over 10 years. The villagers often mocked him, whispering that his silence was weakness, that he was wasting his life in meditation. But Davin never faltered. He understood that his purpose was not for others to approve. It was for him to live authentically, guided by the truth that only his soul could hear. After a decade, when he finally spoke, his words carried the weight of unwavering clarity. People traveled for days to sit in his presence, not because of what he said, but because of the unshakable peace he radiated. His silence had taught him the most valuable lesson of all. The world's noise is temporary, but the truth within you is eternal. With that truth as your foundation, you are ready to face the pressures of life. The eighth declaration is your reminder that I am built for pressure, prepared for purpose, empowered by faith. Pressure is not your enemy. It is the fire that tempers steel, the resistance that builds strength, the discomfort that reveals your true potential. The Buddha himself faced unimaginable pressure beneath the Bodhi tree when Mara, the embodiment of fear and temptation, tried to break his spirit. Yet, it was through that pressure that enlightenment was born. Without the weight of those moments, the Buddha's purpose would have remained dormant. I once met a young teacher named Kalen, who dreamed of bringing education to the forgotten children in the Himalayan villages. But the journey was brutal. The terrain was unforgiving, the funding scarce, the opposition fierce. Every step forward felt like pushing against a mountain. But Kalen understood that purpose is not gifted. It is earned through the quiet resilience of showing up again and again, despite the odds. Today, his schools have transformed thousands of lives, not because the path was easy, but because he was prepared to carry the weight of his calling. When you embrace pressure, you transform from fragile to unbreakable. But to do so, you must make peace with uncertainty. That is why the ninth declaration matters. I do not fear the unknown. I own the unknown. Fear of the unknown has paralyzed countless souls, but the unknown is where life truly begins. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of impermanence teaches that everything is constantly changing. Clinging to certainty is an illusion, but stepping into the unknown with faith is liberation. There is a story of a young healer named Mira who left her predictable life in the city to follow her dream of studying ancient herbal medicine deep in the forests of Laos. Everyone warned her of the dangers, the isolation, the poverty, the uncertainty. But Mira knew that the life she longed for existed beyond the borders of comfort. The unknown was terrifying at first. She battled illness, loneliness, and doubt. But through the wilderness, she discovered strength, knowledge, and purpose. Today, Mira is one of the most respected healers in her region, not because she avoided the unknown, but because she walked straight into it and emerged transformed. When you own the unknown, fear loses its grip. The path may be unclear, but your courage makes the map. Still, along this journey, rejection will come, doors will close, opportunities will pass. But rejection is not a dead end. Every no redirects me to the right yes. When life tells you no, it is easy to doubt yourself. But often, rejection is protection. It is the universe removing what is misaligned so your true path can unfold. I remember a man named Orion, a musician with dreams of performing worldwide. For years, every record label rejected him. Every audition ended in silence. His spirit nearly broke, but each no sharpened his skills, deepened his message, refined his art. One day, an unexpected yes arrived, and it changed his life. His music now inspires millions. His no's led him to the right yes. The next declaration anchors your faith in timing. I am not behind. I am exactly where I need to be to prepare for where I am going. In a world obsessed with speed, it is easy to feel left behind. But growth is not always visible. Seeds sprout roots before breaking the surface. Bamboo grows underground for years before rising skyward. Your quiet seasons, the pauses, the delays, are not wasted. They are preparing your foundation. Your timing is not off. It is unfolding with precision. One of my teachers, a monk named Lior, spent 15 years in silent retreat before teaching his first student. People called him slow, lost, irrelevant. But when Lior finally spoke, his words carried wisdom cultivated over years of quiet preparation. His patience was not weakness, it was mastery. Finally, the most powerful declaration. I rise today to walk like the person I have been praying to become. Do not wait for confidence. Do not postpone your dreams until you feel worthy. Transformation begins when you embody your future self now. Walk like the leader, the healer, the creator you dream of being. Speak with the clarity. Make choices with the wisdom. Move with the strength of the person you aspire to be. In Buddhism, we call this living from your Buddha nature, the enlightened essence already within you. You do not become worthy. You reveal your worth by how you show up today. The world may not recognize your evolution yet, but when you walk as your highest self, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match your energy. Your words are your blueprint. Your daily actions are the bricks. With each morning, you are building the life, the legacy, the peace that your future self will one day thank you for. It does not happen overnight. It happens one declaration, one choice, one step at a time. And it begins with the moment you rise.